I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry, Bracknell.
Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, Lane, I see from your book that on Thursday night, Lord Shoreham and Mr. Worthing were dining with me. 8 bottles of champagne are entered and having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment the servants invariably drink the champagne? Ask merely confirmation.
I attribute it merely to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I have often observed that in married households the champagne is rarely of a first-rate brand.
Good heavens! Is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a pleasant state, sir. I have not had much experience of it myself up to the present. I have only been married once, and that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and the young person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your married life, Lane.
No, sir, it is not very interesting. I never think of it myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. The bed, Lane.
Yes, sir.
Lane's views on marriage are somewhat lax. Really, if the lower order don't set us a good example, what on earth is the use of them? They seem, as a class, to have absolutely no sense of their moral responsibilities.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How do you do, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algie.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
Oh, in the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one's in town, one amuses oneself. When one's in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Heavily horrid. Never speak to any of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county.
Shropshire? Yes, of course. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, it is all very well, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta would quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolyn flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolyn. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you would come up for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I don't see anything romantic in proposing. It is very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then, the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertain. Please, don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Aunt Augusta.
Well, you have been eating them all the time.
That is quite a different matter. She's my aunt. Have some bread and butter. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter.
And a very good bread and butter it is too.
Well, my dear fellow, you need not eat as if you were going to eat at all. You behave as if you are married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. You don't think it right?
That's nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. It is a great truth. And it comes an extraordinary number of bachelors one sees all over town. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, you wait. Gwendolyn is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you'll have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name Cecily. What do you mean, Auntie, by Cecily? I don't know Cecily.
Then bring me the cigarette case that the Worthing left in the smoking room the last time he dined here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you have had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you would let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was nearly offering a large reward.
Well, I wish you would offer one. I haven't been more than usually hard up.
There's no good in offering a large reward once the thing is found.
I think it would rather mean of you, Ernest. However, it makes no matter. But now that I look at the inscription on the inside, I see the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It's a very ungentlemanly thing to do to read a private cigarette case.
Yes, but it's not your cigarette case. This case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily, and you said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, you must know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming lady she is too, lives up at Tunbridge Wells. Give me back my cigarette case!
Yes, but why does she call herself Little Cecily? if she is your aunt and lives at Hammered Well, from little Cecily, with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aren't at all. Some aunts are not tall. That is a matter that surely an aunt to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be like your aunt. That is absurd. For heaven's sake, Algy, give me back my cigarette case.
Yes, but why does she call herself dear little Cecily? Why does she call you her dear uncle? From little Cecily, with her fondest love, to dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt. But why an aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle? I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It is Ernest.
It isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
What? You always told me it was Ernest. I answer to the name of Ernest. I introduced you to everyone as Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You're the most earnest-looking person I ever saw in my life. Isn't it perfectly absurd you're saying your name isn't Ernest? It is on your card. Here is one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, before the Albany. I'll give you the proof that your name is Ernest. If you ever attempt to deny to me, or to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in town, and Jack in the country. And my cigarette case was given me in the country.
Yes, but does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily calls you her dear uncle. Now, my dear fellow, tell me the whole thing. I may mention I've always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret bummerist. In fact, I'm quite sure of it now.
Bummerist? What on earth do you mean by bummerist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you're kind enough to reveal to me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, use your explanation.
The elder Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, for motives of respect you cannot possibly appreciate, lives up at my place, in the country, under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prison.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You are not going to be invited. Candidly, the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that, dear fellow. I am bummered all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now, go on. Why are you Ernest from town and Jack in the country?
My dear fellow, when one is placed in the position of guardian, one must adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It's one's duty to do so. And as a high moral tone can hardly be said to conduce very much to either one's health or happiness, in order to get up to town, I've always pretended to have a younger brother Ernest, who gets into the most dreadful of scrapes. That, Algy, is the truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. What you are is a bummerist. You're one of the most advanced bummerists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest in order that you may go up to London as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury in order that he may go down to the country as often as I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. If it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I wouldn't be able to dine with you tonight at the Carlton, for I've really been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know. You're absurdly careless about sending out invitations. It is very foolish of you. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitation.
You had better much dine with Aunt Augusta tonight.
I haven't the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, whenever I do dine there, I'm always treated as a member of the family instead